I need an angel to save me from myself.
We are back with a personal project pan update. This one is a personal one that I created in August called the Panning Diaries. This is the Panning Diaries Update 2.
Call me forever, for every passing moment.
This project in the month of August as a fun, lighthearted way to kind of further help bring awareness to addiction or any types of obstacles or struggles that you might have overcome, and to pair a couple products with a couple challenges that I have overcome in my life, such as my addiction. And if you want to hear how well I have done for this past month on this project, then just make sure to keep on watching. But before we get into the video, make sure you guys subscribe. I put out new videos 2 to 3 times a week, so you don't want to miss out on all the fun. Also, make sure to check the down bar for all my other links to all my other social media platforms. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop on into the video. Introduction as well as the playlist to this project in the cards for you guys if you want to go watch the intro on this and see why I created this type of a project and ways that I feel it could possibly be helpful to me or to anyone that is wanting to join the project. Of course, there is also a sign up sheet down below in the description box of all my videos on this project if you are interested in wanting to join the project yourself. I originally had picked 3 items and I paired them with 3 challenges or obstacles. Then on the last month's update for my addiction, I ended up picking up 2 more single shadows. If you want to go check that out, it will also be in the cards as well. Just like I said in the months prior, the updates on this project will be rather short. It's just kind of going over any progress that I have made on these 5 products now. So let's go ahead and get into it. I will start with my first obstacle that I struggle with and that I will always struggle with. I will always be an addict through and through for the remainder of my life. It is something that I've struggled with and feel it was something I was born into. It does in fact run genetically in my family. I've lost my entire family to addiction. One of most recently was my brother in 2018, which had triggered a relapse after 3.5 years of sobriety. I had since gotten back on the bandwagon and have a little over 1.5 years of sobriety now. I wanted to try to pair something that I was most addicted to in my collection, which is typically eyeshadow palettes. But since I'm already doing so many other different like palette types of projects, like my Pan That palette, Throwing Shade, now I'm doing the No Brand Left Behind, which is over on my Instagram. I just figured I would just pick a couple single shadows for addiction instead. And I originally had started with just the 1 single shadow, which is my Makeup Geek Black Light single shadow. In last month's update, I ended up picking up 2 more single shadows to go with this just because this underwhelmed me just a little bit. So I ended up picking up 2 more shadows to pair and put in for addiction for the project. And those 2 shadows are my Looksy Beauty single shadows in the shades Snow Cone as well as Bubblegum. So these are the 2 most recent ones that I put in the project last month. Let's go ahead and go over usage on these, if there's any, in fact, any usage at all, which I'm going to be honest with you guys, there's not a whole lot of usage on these. The Black Light shade literally only has 1 use on it for the month of September, which I don't know what to do, you guys. If I should keep this in the project or not, just because it is underwhelming to me, and because I know that it's underwhelming, it's my mind is probably why I haven't and am not reaching for it like I should be. So I'm a little little confused as to what I should do, if I should just pull this out, but then if I pull it out, then it will just literally sit and it will not get used. And I'm so bad about decluttering things. I don't want to just declutter this for the sake of it being not as metallic as I would like it to be. It is still very beautiful. In fact, I'm just a little conflicted as to what I should do with this single shadow. Again, it is a really pretty shade. I will insert a little swatch of this so that you guys can see, but as you can kind of see in the swatch of this, it is just a little bit almost like you can kind of see my skin peeking through. I'm gonna keep it in the project for now and keep working on it, but I really, if I don't find myself reaching for it or just feeling very uninspired by it in the next couple of months to come, then I might possibly pull it from the project. So we shall see, all in time. The second single shadow for Addiction, again, was the Looksy Beauty single in the shade Snow Cone, which is absolutely beautiful. These are really, really gorgeous, but this just goes to show you that I have to be careful with trying to take on too many different projects, because I believe that is the reason why I'm not getting a lot of usage and reach for these as often as I should, because even this gorgeous shade only has 3 uses for the month of September, which is still one more use than I had for August. August it had 2 uses. This month it has 3, so at least I beat last month's. And it's really gorgeous shades. That just goes to show you I just have to maybe possibly potentially stop doing so many different projects, because then I stretch myself too thin and I'm not able to hit goals or get any usage out of all of the different projects that I'm doing, because it's just no way inhumanly possible. I only have one face, and I'm learning this, but it's so hard for me to turn down a project, especially if somebody nominated me as their favorite project panner, for instance, or if somebody wants me to join a project. It's really hard for me to say no, even though I know I shouldn't be doing too many more. We have 3 uses on the Snow Cone shade. They are really, really beautiful. And I forgot to mention the weight on the shade Blacklight. Realistically, I know the weights aren't going to go down too drastically on these eyeshadows, especially since I've only used them just a couple times, but this was 4.1 grams last month, and it is now, in fact, 4 grams exactly. So it did go down 0.1 gram, which one use got it down 0.1 gram. I'll take it. As well as the shade Snow Cone, it was at 3.2 grams last month, and it is now at 3.1 grams. So at least they're going down in weight, just the teeniest 0.1 gram bit, but they're still going down in weight. And it's only 3 uses on this, totaling 5 uses so far that I've used on this shade. But hey, progress is still progress. And then the last single shadow for Addiction was my Looksy Beauty single shadow in the shade Bubblegum. And I've used this 2 times for the month of September, which is such a shame because it really is a gorgeous, gorgeous color. And the weight on this one is still exactly the same, 3.1 grams. It was both 3.1 grams for September, and it is now 3.1 grams as well in October. So no weight difference yet. 2 uses, totaling 5 uses. I've used it 3 times last month and 2 times this month. I mean, it's still progress, and it is such a gorgeous shade. I just got to get better about reaching for these singles, because as you can see from the swatch of that, just how multi-dimensional, like duochrome type of shade that is. So gorgeous. I really do love these Looksy Beauty singles. I just got to get better about reaching for them. And again, I feel I'm just doing too many different projects at this point, so usage will be minimal. So what I would like to do for this month is, now I'm not going to do this every month like I do my Pan That palette, but I'm going to set monthly goals on these 3 singles. I just put them back in the little container thing here, but I'm going to just set a goal to use each shade at least 2 times, which is nothing too crazy. I want to make sure I can at least use each one 2 times, since technically the Blacklight shade only had 1 use and the other shades had 2 to 3 uses, but I'm going to at least make sure to use each shade 2 times for the month of October, so we shall see. The next challenge that I decided to go ahead and pair up a product with is my anxiety. And I decided to go ahead and pair up something that, like, figuratively speaking, would give me anxiety at trying to think about finishing the whole thing, since technically the goal on these products is to finish them entirely. I didn't say the dates or anything on this at the beginning of this project, just because it will be in the intro if you're interested to see how long this project is. I decided to pair something that, figuratively speaking, would give me anxiety trying to finish, since we are in fact finishing the whole thing. So I'll be finishing those entire little single eyeshadows. I'll be finishing the entire bullet lipstick, which is for anxiety. I went with my NYX Suede Matte Bullet Lipstick in the shade Dainty Days. For last month, it weighed 20 grams exactly, and it is now at, surprisingly, 19.7 grams. So I used 0.3 grams of this past month, which is quite impressive. I have used this 8 times for the month of September, so not too bad, you guys. 8 uses is quite a lot considering I have 230 lippies, so I'm really proud of myself for using this 8 times. In total, I've used it 18 times so far for the project, which is not too bad. It's a really beautiful, just your nude, typical nude shade of lipstick. So we'll go ahead and keep working on that. Hopefully I can get the weight down on this a little more each month. And then the last challenge that I decided to use and pair a product based around is trauma disorder. I decided to go ahead and pair up my Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer Pen for trauma, because I just figured concealer, you cover up dark circles. Trauma, we tend to cover up. Concealer, get it? For the month of September, I've used this 5 times, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is not my favorite concealer. It's just not as enough coverage on it as I prefer for a concealer. I mean, if you prefer and like a more light coverage type of concealer, then you will really like this. But I prefer, if I'm gonna go in and do the step of doing concealer, I want something that is going to actually cover my dark circles. Otherwise, to me, I don't see the point in just putting on another extra layer of product that's light coverage under my eyes, especially under my eyes where it's more fine skin and more wrinkles, if it's not going to do anything or cover anything. I just wish this would be a little bit more fuller coverage than what it is, but I'm going to keep it in the project. I have used this a total of 19 times so far in the project, so not too bad. And it was at 18.1 grams last month, and it is now at 18 grams exactly. So again, 0.1 gram of it. It's still progress, and we'll still take it. All right, you guys, so that was my little progress on my 5 items that I have in for the Painting Diaries for this month. I can't believe it is the month of October already. The end of the year is quickly approaching, and I have some really exciting news that I'm going to sit down and share with you guys closer towards the end of the year related to my no-buy, which I will be doing a no-buy video coming hopefully soon and kind of maybe touch on it a little bit then, so you guys have a better idea of what I'm talking about. That's basically everything for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by, and please, of course, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and comment down below. And until my next video, everybody enjoy the rest of their day. Bye.